Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a few products from Makeup Revolution. You can find Makeup Revolution at Ulta. That is the only place that I've been able to find anything from their line. And I really wanted to show you these products because I don't hear about them a lot, and I'm wondering if you guys ever like pass it up at Ulta, because I know I did before I ever purchased the first products, and I was always like, where did that come from? Like, what is Makeup Revolution, and you know, is it even good? It is very inexpensive, so that's why those are my dogs. They're very inexpensive, so that's why I don't know, I just kind of doubted them, but too bad for me because I was missing out on the good products that they do have. And I gotta say, most of these are hits. There's only one, but that was just like personal preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the products that I've gotten from Makeup Revolution over time and talk about what I liked about them and what I don't. So first thing is this bronzer palette, and this one is called All About Bronze. I really love this palette because it has a ton of bronzers to choose from. You get shimmery ones, satin finish ones, and then you get two baked bronzers, which are on this side, and you get a light one and a dark one. So you get an option. And I actually have individual shades that look pretty similar to those two, but I do have to say that those two are some of my favorites from this palette. These two and this one right here, which is a very shimmery shade. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the first two. I'm gonna go from top to bottom like this, and these two shades are the lightest from the palette, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some live swatches so you can see these. Makeup Revolution's powders, I would say all of them, pretty much the bronzers, these are very, very light, you guys. So if you have a light skin tone, you'll get a lot of use of these. If you're a little bit darker, you might not have, you know, much luck with these shades. With just these two though, these two are the lightest ones. There we go. I'm trying to get as focused as possible. You can see that they're powdery, and I gotta say, almost every product that I'm going to show you, it is very powdery, but once you blend it out, you can't see the powder anymore. You just get left with the pigment. So next up are these two. And there you go. 1, 2. You'll be able to see all the powder that it does have, but I'm going to kind of show you. Look at how pretty they are. This one's a very, very warm shade. And there, I'm kind of like blending it out with my finger, and you can see that the powder goes away, but the pigment is still there. So those are some horrible, horrible blending demos, but you get the idea. The powder is gone, but the pigment is there, and trust me, you will really fall in love with these bronzers. Like, you get so many options from this palette, and this palette is only $10. So I'm already saying everything that I like about it and ruining it. Okay, these next two, we're almost done from this palette, are these two, and the shimmery one is one of my favorites. So this one is the brown one, and this one is the shimmery one. It has a pink toned, like iridescent type of shade, because it's like golden, but at the same time it's pink. So here are the swatches to these, and you can see how it looks pink, but then it looks gold. Yeah. So pretty. See that right there looks gold, and then right there it looks more pink. Very, very pretty. This one's one of my favorite shades from the palette. Let's try to blend that out. Look how pretty that is. And if you have a darker complexion, you can definitely use that one probably as a highlight. It's just so, so pretty. Okay, so that was a horrible, horrible blend. But you get the idea. The powder is gone, the pigment stays. The last two are the baked bronzers from this palette. And these don't have names individually, but at least I haven't seen them. No, they don't. But they do look very, very similar as the individual one. So this one is the light baked bronzer, and this one is the darker one. So this one is the light baked bronzer, and this one is the warmer one. You can see how pretty they are. These do have way more shimmer than, besides the golden one, these two have more shimmer than all the rest from the palette. So there, you can see that shimmer. You can even use this as a highlight for sure. It's so pretty. So you already heard the good things that I had to say about it, which is pretty much every shade in here is good. You're getting pigment. Now some of these might not work if you have darker complexion, but like if you have my skin tone, these two work for me too. They're just very, very light, and sometimes I just want more color to my skin. But whenever I apply any of these, they are a little bit powdery. I'm not even gonna say, oh my god, you're getting the perfect palette for $10. You're not. You are getting a powdery palette, but that gets outweighed with the good stuff that it has, and it is only $10, at least at Ulta. At least whenever I got it, it was $10. So I would really recommend this palette. Now the next two products are some products that I use all the time, and these are the baked bronzers. These are called Vivid Baked Bronzers, and I only have two of these, and these do look very similar. I'm actually going to show you a comparison. They look very similar to these two baked bronzers. Look, I mean, it's not exactly the same, and the ingredients are a little bit switched, so they're not exactly the same. So I know they're a little bit different, but I do love these, and I think I know for sure that I reach for these more than I do the palette. I don't know if it's just because it's a palette, but this one is a pretty, very, very warm brown bronzer. And you can see that it's super, super orangey. Let's get a little close up right there. You can see how orangey that is, you guys. And this one, you do have to be careful, because if you use a heavy hand, you are gonna have an orange face for sure, completely Oompa Loompa. This one is the light bronzer, and this one I use more on an everyday type of basis. And I sometimes use it as a bronzer topper. So if I'm using a matte bronzer, I go ahead and I top it with this one, and it works. It looks really, really pretty. Can you focus? Can you focus for me? There we go. So there you can see the warm bronzer and the light bronzer. Two very different shades, but very pretty. And actually this one's the bronzer that I'm wearing today. Like I said, I used a very, very light hand, but it is the deep warm shade. Very pretty. It's very glowy. I just love it. I love the glow right now, and I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about glow, 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 but I really do like it. And this one's the one that I'm wearing today, and I just blend it out, and I barely tap it. Trust me, if you grab too much, you will see it on your face. So I just barely put a little bit on my brush, blend it out, and if I want a little bit more, I build it up, but most of the time, 1 or 2 times, you know, putting it on my brush is enough. So these are the two bronzers. Next, I'm gonna move on to the highlights. And these are very, very affordable highlights. Did I tell you the prices for these? These are, I'm pretty sure $5 or $6, but either way, I will have it right here so that way you know for sure the single bronzer price. All right, so moving on to the highlights, I do have a palette with highlights, and then I have a single one. This one is my favorite one out of the highlights, and this one is a baked highlight. So this was also called Vivid Baked, but it's a highlighter. This one is called Radiant Lights, and this one is one of my favorite drugstore highlights. I don't even know if there's another one that's comparable. Maybe my Wet n Wild one, but this one is for sure really good. So if you want to get any product from Makeup Revolution, try out their highlighters because they're really nice. And again, they're $5 or $6, but this is the swatch for it. It's very, very shimmery. It's really nice. And there we go. I'm kind of trying to blend it out as much as possible. These are very pigmented, but very pretty, very blendable too. Look at that highlight. I mean, that's just a powder alone, and I use it with the spray just because I feel like it blends in a little bit better. But even if you wear it alone, I've been wearing it alone the whole time until like not too long ago whenever I got my spray. I've been using it with a setting spray just because I feel like it blends in a little bit better. But I use this spray with all of my highlights now just because I feel it looks better. But just alone, I mean, I've been wearing it just like that for a long time. And that's the one that I'm wearing today. And then this one is the palette that I have, and this one's my newest product out of all of these, but this is the one that I'm most disappointed in. Not that it's bad, and not that it doesn't show up, it does. It's just that the highlight doesn't even compare to the glowiness of the individual baked one. Now I'm not sure if these are even baked. I don't think these are baked, so that's why I guess they're a little bit different. But you get a white one, a pink one, and a peachy one, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to keep this highlight on there. Or let me see, I'm gonna take it off and re-swatch it so you can see the difference. Okay, so I went ahead and I took off the highlight so that way I can swatch the 3 in the palette, and then I'm gonna swatch the baked bronzer next to it so that way you can see the difference between them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the white one, the pink one, and the peachy toned one. And there you can see the swatches are there. They're pigmented. You can tell the difference between the shades white, pink, and peach. You can see that. But whenever you apply it, they don't have a lot of glow. They're kind of like a chalk, I would say. The color's there, but it's not glowy. It's just like a satin eyeshadow pretty much. So these are the 3 shades. And if you're just looking for a very, very light glow, then I guess this is fine. I only do that maybe sometimes, but even if I'm doing like an everyday type of makeup look, I still do a regular highlight, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the, running out of breath. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the highlight. I'm gonna use my pinky, the baked highlight. So that's the one that I'm grabbing right now. And I'm gonna swatch it right on this side. Again, powdery, they're all powdery, but you'll be able to see the difference in the shimmer. Hopefully you can see it. Look, whenever I move my hand, you can see that this one has like a glow to it, while the other ones just stay kind of matte. Now, they do have a little bit of shimmer in them. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't at all, but it's not, doesn't compare to this one over here. Now, one thing that did disappoint me was the top layer, because the top layer looked exactly like this one. But this one, I've used this one so many times that it was kind of like domed. Is that how you say it? I think so. It was like that, but now it's not, because it had like some layers in between it or some layers around it. But even though I've already used this, I've swatched this, I've used a brush and everything, I've used this for a long time, this is used up, the glow is still there. This one had a glow on top. So the very first time that I swatched these, and as a matter of fact, I think I swatched them on camera, I said that they looked pretty good, but I was still gonna try them. You can see it around, there's still a little bit because I haven't used these that much, but around it, around the circle, around the first ring, you can see that there is some shimmer. So the first layer was really pretty and it looked pretty much like I was getting these in different shades, but now that I'm really in there, like they don't have that much glow to them. So that was the thing that I'm like, nah, you know. And I think I'm gonna put the price right here for the palette as well. I don't think it was $10, or maybe it was, I think it was, but it wasn't that great. I would recommend getting individual highlights if you're looking at the highlights. All right, and the last 2 products are not showing. The last 2 products are blushes, and this one's the one that I'm wearing today. This one's called Nude, and this one is, these 2 are matte blushes, but this one's the one that I'm wearing right now. You can see that it does show up on my face. Look at that highlight. Girl, this one is that highlight. I didn't even tell you. The highlight that I'm wearing today is this one, and I'm wearing it, I'm already off track. I'm wearing it with this mist, which is my setting spray. And even though this is a matte setting spray, look at it. You can still see it a lot. Like whenever you use this with the spray, it'll look 10 times better. But even if you do use it just alone, it works. That's the way that I've been using it for a long time. But anyways, this is the blush that I'm wearing today. And I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this one for you. These are very soft. If you're familiar with Lorac, with the texture of their eyeshadows, with the feeling of their eyeshadows, this is exactly what the blushes feel like. And you can even see the powder on the pan. Let me kind of show you. Focus. So you can see the powder on the pan right there, that it just kind of breaks apart because I'm swatching it with my finger. Whenever I use the brush, you can see the powder get everywhere, so I always have to tap off on the brush and all that, because these are very powdery products, but they do last all day. So to me, look, that's the first swatch and you can see how powdery it is. So let's go ahead and blend that out a little bit. So the powder goes away, but the pigment is there. It lasts a long time. It's very, very pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the next one. The next one's called Beloved, and it is the exact same way. It's like powdery and buttery, like the Lorac eyeshadows. I've been wearing this makeup look all day and it's fine. Like the blush doesn't fade away, the bronzers don't fade away, the highlight doesn't fade away. I really like these products. It's just they are a little bit of a hit or miss depending on what you like in a product. If you don't like anything that's powdery, you're not gonna like these. But if you don't care about that and it outweighs, you know, what you're getting for the price that you're paying, then it's totally worth it. The products that are my favorite are the blushes, the baked highlight, and the bronzers. All of the bronzers are really good. Now if I were to tell you, you know, pick between these two, I don't know, like these are very pigmented and they're great, but in the palette you get a lot more options. So it's really up to you on what you like or what you find. They're both good, so any bronzers for me are good. I know they have maybe 1 or 2 other shades of bronzers, and for sure they have other shades of the blushes and the highlights too, but I haven't been able to find them. Every time I go, they're like out. I guess are very popular. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Let me know if you've tried Makeup Revolution. I really want to try their palettes, their eyeshadow palettes. I know they have a few. I just haven't tried any of them. I know they have a very bright one and a very nude one, and I think they even have like a rosy one. I just never see them or anything, so I've never tried them before. But let me know if you have and what you think about the products. If you've tried any of the ones that I showed you or any different ones, let me know how you feel about them. That is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.